The two previous bobsledders have both been track athletes to bobsledders. Is that a common pipeline?
Absolutely. I was track guy as well. And so it's really you really just looking for really fast people to get that sled moving. And hopefully the people have some size on them. You don't want like a little small person because that thing, you pushing 500 pounds. So you just want quick people to get that thing moving. And usually you're going to find it on your track people. If you can find the ones, because most track people are small, though. So they're tiny people, a lot of them. So like when I started the sport, I was like 184. And by the time I was like on my second year with the national team, I was like 218 or something like that. They packed a lot of muscle on me.
Can you run me through your relationship with track prior to finding bobsled?
Yeah, track is how I went to college. Like I honestly I didn't want to go to college. I didn't think I was smart enough. Um, and so I wound up just going because I wanted to run track. There was no other place to keep running track if you didn't go to college. And so yeah, so that was my background. So I ran track until I was probably around 27, 28 when I started kind of shut it down. But as I was shutting that down, then bobsled showed up and then it just kind of took over.
Where did you go to school?
I finished up at Weber State University up in Utah, Ogden, Utah.
What was your experience like running track in college?
Man, I loved it. Like, man, it was just such a blessing. It's especially the biggest thing biggest take I got from it. It was like I belonged in college. I belonged. I wound up later on. I wound up becoming a writer, doing some writing and selling some shows here and there. And here I am as I'm in college, just thinking I'm not smart enough to go and do these things these other people do. But it wasn't the truth. So that was the best part about going to college. It wasn't really the track, but it was more so about finding out who I really am and believing in myself. And you know, yeah, it was a journey.
Did you ever think that you would be an Olympic athlete in something that wasn't track?
Um, Absolutely not. Uh, I thought I was going to break the world record when they used to introduce me as the new. I'm gonna be the one who broke the world record in the long jump. And when it didn't happen, man, my life was crushed. Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. But I never thought that it would. At first, I never thought I would do bobsledding. I remember seeing those Wild World of Sport videos. Like that was no, no. But what else was there? Like no, no. There's no way. There's no way.
When did you realize that you could try out for the Olympic team and potentially make it on?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. My my journey with Team USA was a little different than a lot of people. Like, and I left the sport in 2007, and I never really spoke about it until like the last couple weeks. When I left the sport, like my first day at the Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid, they told me, I hate to say it, but they said it's still the good old boy system here, but it's getting better. And I didn't believe it. I was like, nah, yeah, you must be mistaken. And they just got audited, I think, in 2022. And then the update from the audit came out like I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks, about a month ago, probably. And they're still getting in trouble. They were going to be decertified as the Olympic team because they hadn't fixed the racism in the sport, is what I was told. They were audited by some big agency. I don't know if it's because of I don't know why they got audited, but they got audited. So it's still out there, and they're still dealing with the same thing. So when I was in the sport, like I enjoy my teammates, I enjoy representing my country, but I didn't enjoy uh, politics. I said politics would be the best way to put it. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's so funny when casual sports fans are like, get the politics out of sport, because there's so much nuance to the way that teams are crafted and playing time gets disseminated. Did you ever have
yeah,
anyone directly say anything or treat you in a way that was disrespectful?
absolutely. Matter of fact, I even put it in writing to the U.S. Olympic, maybe some of this stuff. But at one point, I just realized like they weren't going to fix anything. They weren't going to do anything about it. It just made the coaches lash out at me more. Like for example, in the 2003, I raced the World Championships. Stephen Holcomb, who also committed suicide, he was my driver that year. So after the World Championships, we all won these cell phones from Verizon. So all the national team, we all had the same number, so one digit off. So it's time for training camp, and I'm the number one or maybe number two brakeman in the country at the time, based off of the World Championships from this previous season. So I called the coaches, and they said, "We're not going to fly you. We're not going to fund you. We're not going to pay for you to go up to camp in Canada." I was like, "What?" Like, so I had to scratch together the money, get myself up there. Steve Holcomb was like, "Hey, well, you can just stay with me because my room was paid for." And so I became he was my roommate, and yeah, and so probably I was there for about a week. This guy named Mike Kahn comes to me. He's a driver now, and he says, "Hey, Will, Coach Tuffy called me, and he told me that right now everybody's paying for their own rooms, but he said when the federation, the Olympic team, pays for the rooms, everybody was going to switch to a different hotel, and you won't have a place to stay, so you got to figure something else out." And the guy was like, "Man, I don't know why he's saying this to you. I don't know." I said, "I don't know either." So I called him from my cell phone, which is, one digit off everybody else's number. He didn't answer. I called him again. He didn't answer. It's like, wow, okay. A couple of days later, that guy comes to me. "Hey, man," he said, "the coach is saying the same thing. I don't know why he put me in the middle of this. I don't want to be a part of this." And so I called him again from my phone. He didn't answer. And I called from the other guy's phone. He picks up on the first ring. And I was like, "Hey, Tuffy, what's going on, man? This is what they're telling me." And he was like, "Well, each driver only gets one push athlete funded." And I was like, "Tuffy, I've been here for more than 2 weeks. I know the truth. Now, is that what you're sticking with?" He got kind of quiet. He said, "Well, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do." So a few weeks later, we moved to the new hotel. He gets me a room. Okay, no big deal. I had a new roommate. Um, I seen that guy before because the year before he was like the track janitor. He was like cleaning the ice and cleaning our sleds off and stuff. And I met the he's a nice guy. I said, "Hey, was your ticket expensive?" He was like, "No." He said, "I went to the training camp. I finished last." He said, "And then I got injured. So I'm laying around the Olympic Training Center, and Tuffy came to me and asked me if I wanted to go to Canada. He was paying for it. He said, 'What have I got to lose?'" And I'm thinking, like, what the, I was, but I couldn't tell him I was upset because it wasn't his problem. It wasn't his fault, and but that's the kind of things I dealt with. And that wasn't the first time. It happened again another year. The first 2 days of training camp, I had the fastest push times. On day three, they kicked me out. We're in Canada. They tell me I can't push with the team anymore. And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Well, you had a car accident last year. You had to hurt your back. So you missed, uh, well, you didn't have any international races." And I said, "Is that the only reason?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, go back and check your records because I came back after that and I had at least 10 races." He said, "Oh, okay, okay." He said, "Don't worry. The coaches know you pushing really good." I said, "I know you know I'm pushing good. That's why you're kicking me out." And so what they did, they made me practice with the women. And everybody saw this happening. And this was a different year, you know. And it was just always something with those guys. It was just always like. So for all them complaints I made about it, other people made complaints about it for me. Like one time, me and this we had this really young driver, and he wasn't strong enough to push the sled fast. So nobody really raced with him because they knew he wasn't going to be competitive. So when they started excluding me from the bigger teams now, like he asked me to help him. And I did. And the crazy part is, I pushed that kid so much faster to the pack that we beat everybody down the hill, including the team that won the silver medal in the Olympics in 2002, which I was a part of that team too. And what they did is they canceled the race. They said the track was too frosty, and they canceled the race and moved it to a different track where that kid didn't know the track as well. So it's like, yeah, I had a lot of experiences like that. And when I left the sport, like I was so embarrassed. Like I never told this story to the media or anybody who was gonna talk about it. I didn't want anybody knowing like what I allowed them to do to me for 9 years, and I stuck around. I'm representing my country, but no, he was dealing with a lot. And every black athlete, I mean, every black actor, I'm sorry, black athlete, got their own stories. Like, yeah, I ain't the only one. Like, it's like, yeah. So yeah, I deal with a lot of that stuff up there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's one thing to tell the stories of elite athletes and elite success, but it's another to tell the story within the story. Because
yeah,
while you're gaining this notoriety and being heralded by your country, you're also being blackballed out of your sport by your national governing body. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. It happened, and it was brutal. It was pretty brutal. Like I said, when I left that sport, like some people's like, did you get depressed when you left the sport? Like, no, I couldn't wait to leave that sport. I just you always, or you always think like, okay, I just keep doing everything right, and eventually they're gonna have to, you know. But no, it's just not what it was. Yeah.
I guess we're gonna flip the script a little bit. What was the best part of competing with Team USA?
Um, I would say the best part to me, like there was one moment in time. Like I grew up in the Midwest, and Midwest, it could be pretty rough for. There's still a lot of what's the best word for that? Segregation in the Midwest. So some neighborhoods are all black, some are all white. You don't find too many that's kind of all put together or mixed. And so I remember being at the World Championships and having everybody like screaming for you. You had your country rooting for you. That was the best moment probably of my life is to hear somebody going USA and I'm a part of that. Like that was probably the biggest moment for me. Yeah.
How did that feel while you knew what was happening behind the scenes?
Oh man, I was so bitter. Like I I was so man, just embarrassed would be the number one word. But it just you just keep pushing forward. Like I'm not one to ever really give up. I'm like I'm not gonna let them discourage me. I'm gonna keep going, and it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And but to know what they're doing behind the scenes, it's like yeah. Like now I look back, like most people, you have these medals. People talk about winning medals. I still love winning. I was the same, winning medals and trophies. Now to me, they're just like pieces of like metal and tin. They don't mean the same to me anymore. Matter of fact, whenever I saw somebody doing something courageous in a community, I began to give my medals away. Um, so if I see somebody struggling, maybe sobriety, whatever, I'll give them a medal. And but yeah, because at one point people were calling me. It's like you want to only. They always say I'm the first black athlete to sport. It's not true. I wasn't the first. That I wasn't the last. Wasn't many of us. But so I always try to, just encourage and be that person. Keep lifting other people up. So yeah, when people start coming for my medals, they wanted to buy them, and I that just seems so cheesy to me. It's like they're not selling you a medal. It's not even an Olympic medal, and it has no value like that. And so, like I said, I started to gift them, and then it made more sense to me. It was uplifting other people, helping people with what they do, and then I used to like own a treatment facility for mental health for kids and stuff. So, like I'm the save the world kind of guy. I've always been that guy. Yeah.
So you joined the Olympic team in 1999. What were you doing between 1999 and the 2002 Olympics?
Well, I just opened a treatment facility, first ever transitional housing. It's like a transitional independent living program for teens. So I just opened that place. Other than that, I was just still running training for track. I was still in great shape, still competing, still running. I wasn't competing as much, but just still training the same. And so when the bobsled showed up, it was just a natural transition. Like I just moved right over into it.
Why did you start that treatment facility?
Well, I used to work this one place in Arizona. Like you couldn't have locked RTCs in like Cook County, Chicago. So some states you can have them. So Cook County, Chicago would send their kids over to Arizona where you can have a locked RTC. And so I watched these kids in this program and they were doing great. And they were making this company so much money. It was just crazy. I was watching it. But what I noticed is like when we send these kids back in their community, they were failing one by one. Go right back to recidivism rate was through the roof. And so I created a program that had never been done before, which means, like for example, these kids were, let's say their parents was a gang member, mom's gang member, dad's gang member. This kid's now a gang member, and he's got a murder rap already. Like I'm trying to teach these guys, like your family might not be the best thing for you. You might not should not probably be around them as much. They're not the safest for you. But I can't say that. I've got to kind of plant the seeds and let them pick it up. And so for me, like I just watched them, and I said I don't never want to see that happen again. So when I relocated to Utah, I saw the same thing in place, and so I wrote this program as a pilot program, and created it, presented it to the state. They liked it. We opened, and the rest was kind of history.
So what year
Yeah,
did that open?
I think I opened it around '98, if I'm not mistaken. Opened about the same time I started bobsledding.
Yeah.
So it was probably about '98, I believe.
And what was the feedback from that?
The program?
Was it overly positive or did you get some
Yeah.
pushback?
Oh, the program itself? No, no. Actually, what happened is everybody started to clone the program. They cloned it. So it did what it was supposed to do. I wasn't doing it to make a ton of money and be there forever. No, I saw something that was needed and I filled the niche.
Heck,
Matter of fact, I'm working on the same thing right now. Like I want to open this, mental, like not really a mental health facility, but more of a wellness center for CTE victims. And same thing. I plan on opening it, and I'm the first one out here who's saying he's doing it for free. It's like, no, I don't want to charge. So like all the not-for-profit stuff is being set up, and I want to bring our military in, our athletes, and I want to get to the point where I won't turn anyone away, where I can treat everybody. Because one day I remember I was speaking with this lady. It was a random conversation, and she was telling me about these symptoms she was having, and they lined up with my concussion symptoms. And asked her, I said, "Did you play a sport?" She's like, "No." I said, "Did you hit your head?" Because I said, "Your symptoms seem just exactly what me and my teammates are going through." And I said, "The only relief I get is hyperbaric. Nothing else works." She said, "Well, I've tried everything." And then she said, "Wait a minute." She said, "One time she was with her son. I think they were snowboarding or something. And she fell. And she did me, when she told me she fell, she said she did this. Her arm seized up. Whenever you see somebody get hit in the head and they do that, you might as well put them right in the concussion protocol.
yeah, the fencing stands.
Yeah. I said, that's what your problem is. I said, check with your doctors, check into this. This is what helped me. I said, yeah. I said, I'm sure I was in dementia when I found the chamber. So the fact that we can have a conversation today is because of that. Yeah, but there's so many people. And then as I was doing my homework, I saw the military people dealing with the same stuff. It's the same treatment. They were around the compression blast. And it does the same thing to the head. It makes your head the brain want to expand, but it can't, which is the same symptoms as what CTE is. Yeah. Matter of fact, the crazy part, I was in court few weeks ago, and I was telling the judge, I said, Your Honor, CTE is ridiculous. I said, there was a man today, or this week, he went up to he was a shooter in New York who said he wrote a note, said he had CTE. He believed he had CTE. This was about a month ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we left the courthouse, we went to the court steps and I was talking to some people. I said, it's not the athletes that I'm concerned about as much. I said, there are military guys. They come back here and when their switch goes off, it goes off and they're trained killers. Those are the ones we should be worried about. And then the following week, there was a military guy who went to a bar in my town, shot up 4 people, I believe. And he's still hiding in the woods. Like right now, I think he's in the woods right now. They still trying to find this guy. And then the next week, it happened again, military. So it's not like we're going to get away from this thing. We just have to put the brain is the only thing injury you can have when they tell you don't do anything. Like, just go put your feet up and don't go to sleep. Like, what? Is that a thing? Yeah, like one time, I wish I had sent you this video. Like, my first crash was in St. Moritz, Switzerland. And The guy sitting behind me in the sled was unconscious. Like you can see it all on the video. And I had vertigo for days. And matter of fact, Prince Albert was there with us. This Prince Albert drove bobsleds from Monaco. And his special guest that day was Michael Schumacher and Anna Konikova. And the crazy part is they were right there when I crashed and I got off the track. And Prince Albert came over and winked at me. And I was like, what the heck did he wink at me for? I was like, oh my God, Prince Albert's in love with me. Like I didn't even know this whole time. But I'm concussed. And I didn't even connect the dots of that whole story until about um man, probably about 6 years ago. I was like, you know what? I was concussed. That dude is not in love with me. But I got to the point I wouldn't isolate with Prince Albert anymore. I was like, I don't want to lead him on. Like, I have a lot of gay friends. I live in LA, but yeah, it was just the brain, man. When it goes, man. It's just, what are you gonna do about it? You know, us, they'll just do nothing. Like, I've taken, I went down the bobsled track between 1 and 6 times per day, 4 to 5 days a week, 6 months, 5 to 6 months of the year, depending on the year, for 9 years. So I have so many runs down that track. And they said every time we went down, we were getting these micro concussions. So when you get those, like you just can't, your brain can't handle that many concussions like that. It's not, yeah. But this one particular time, this is the crazy story. We had with these fighter pilots, we take them down the track. We call it forerunning. They do the what do you call that? They're like the volunteers to check the timing system. So they get in the sled, and we'll usually put some VIPs in there. So there's one particular day we had fighter pilots. Now they pull more G forces than bobsledders, supposedly. Well, I think that's not the case. And now I finally have proof it's not the case because when we went down that track, when we got out the sled, they were shook up. I'm like, these are military guys. Like, how could they be shook up? I did 6 of these rides yesterday. And this article came out in December, written by New York Times, and it said fighter pilots have the exact same symptoms as what the bobsledders have now. It's identical. And I'm thinking, what? And then right in there's an article called Sledhead. If you go back and read it, it says we had spikes of 84.5 G forces. And the crazy part is, like, I read that article probably 20, 30 times, probably, because it saved my life. Like, it's the article that really showed me what was going on. And for 2 years, I was calling professors, anybody who can do the numbers and figure out how many G forces we're really pulling. And so I was talking to Pavle Jovanovic's brother probably about a year or two ago. I don't know how long it was. And I was saying, we got to find these numbers. Like, we got to be pulling more G forces than they're telling us. He said, yeah, you guys are pulling 84.5. I was like, that's too high. There's no way in the world we can pull that and survive. He said, it's actually in an article called Sledhead. Once again, I read Sledhead. It's the article that saved me. So I went back and I realized, like, I don't retain a lot of information for a lot of stuff. So how could I read this article 30 times and it saved my life and me still not understand what numbers we're doing? But it's just really what it is. It's like we need to do some changing in the sport a little bit. Get those, just pull them G's out so nobody's getting harmed from it. It just doesn't make sense. Like, why do we need pull 84 G's? Like, space shuttle only pulls three, I believe. The fighter pilots maybe 10 max. We pulling 84. There's a reason why everybody's sick. There's a reason. Yeah.
When you were on that 2002 Olympic team, was that fulfilling to you?
Well, I got added on later. I was on a different team. I was on the team ranked like numbers. We ranked like sixth in the country. Either top three were the national team. The top two were going to race in the Olympics. Now the top three race in the Olympics. They changed it up a little bit. So I was on the USA number six. I was on one of the lowest ranked teams. And what really happened is I had this guy. I don't want to badmouth him or anything, but he didn't train very hard. My driver, who's a big guy, he didn't train very hard, I guess. And when I was pushing at the Olympic trials, um, one of the women's coaches came to me. She's like, Will, you pushed that sled by yourself. He said he didn't make it to the bar to help you push. I was like, no, my times are too fast. There's no way in the world I pushed that by myself. She said, no, you weren't. So then that driver came to me. He said, hey man, can you help me out, man? Like, I need you. Can you slow the sled down and just kind of slow it down and then pick it up faster as you go? I said, slow it down. Like, what? How do I? So I went to the Olympic coaches, which I didn't have a relationship with them at all. And I said, hey guys, this driver wants me to slow it down in the beginning and pick it up. How do I transition that? And they said, that guy's an idiot, is what they told me. He said, matter of fact, we know what's going on. He said, matter of fact, you don't even have to race with him at the Olympic trials. You're automatically on the national team. We have your ticket. If you want to still help him today at the Olympic trials, you can, but you're going with us. And that's kind of how I got started, you know. And so that was really good to um, have people come to you like that, you know. And then the crazy part is the first time I pushed the sled when we got to the next track, I was pushing with these more developed drivers who were actually training. Now everybody's bells are ringing. They're like, "Oh my God, look at the rookie! He's doing these crazy numbers." And I was like I thought I was just like an average guy until I got over there, until I was pushing with the really good people. So, like for me, I didn't get to race in the 2002 Olympics. Like I was on the alternate team. I was the so I really don't like. I'm not really truly in the Olympic because I didn't race on Olympic day. World Cup, World Championships, Olympic trials, yeah, I got it all. But on that day, and like I said, I had some experiences with them where they're gonna do everything they can to keep me off that Olympic team on that day, and they did. And I wasn't the only one. I can't say proud to say I'm the only victim now. Like there was one year, I think there was took the top 16 athletes, and I forgot what number, but the black athletes finished like fourth, fifth, and like 11th or something. They took all the athletes on tour except for those numbers. And so it's like, it's just kind of, it is what it is. It is what it is.
So you'll see up at the corner, we do have 4.5 minutes left on this interview. I do
Yeah.
have
Okay.
some more questions, so I do foresee us going longer than that. Once that timer is done, it will kick us out of the meeting. You just have to go exit this one, and then the same link that got you into this interview will get you into the next one, and we'll just pick up.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
But when did you realize that you might have bobsled as a sport, and you specifically might have a concussion issue?
I had a teammate call me, Pablo. He called me. Crazy part, we weren't even friends doing the sport. We became friends after the sport. And like he called me one day, he was speaking gibberish. And like I like to write. So whenever he had ideas about writing scripts, he would call me and I would give him ideas and tell him how to fix it. And. So there's one day he called me, he was speaking gibberish. Like I didn't understand anything he said. He was blah, blah, blah. It's like, what? He got so frustrated he hung up the phone. And then that's when I told myself, like, mental health is my background. I know something's wrong with this guy. I got to get him some help. And I told myself that every single day. And I didn't do anything to help him. Like I was just talking about it in my head. And eventually I got the word that he went to his family's factory and he hung himself. And so when they checked his brain, uh, he was in stage 4 of CTE. So, and for me, like, I felt guilty and I felt awful and I felt like I was responsible. And it crushed me for a long, long time. Like, even now, it's like, it's still just, it's just ugly stuff. But the truth is, like, I realized later on, I couldn't help him because I needed help. Like, I tell people, like, I took the mattress off my bed and put it in the living room on the floor because I was crawling around my apartment sometime. I had days where I couldn't get up. And no matter how many times I see doctors, I thought I was diabetic. I thought I was coming, looked like felt like low blood sugar. That's what it seemed like. I've seen that on diabetics before, so I must be coming diabetic. And it was like, no, they check me every year, no diabetes. And it didn't make sense because I still eat clean and I still was working out and but yeah, they got me. And so that was about the time when I kind of started connecting the dots. But I tell you what, this thing is so progressive and sneaky. I had people tell me that I told them that I think bobsledding did something to my brain. This is way before I connected the dots because I had these migraines. I still have them, and this vertigo. All I could think it would had to come from that, but there was no reports of CTE in our community. nobody's talking about it. And then I found out, well, they're not talking about it because they don't want to talk about it. So that's kind of where we are with that. And that's why I started fighting so hard. I was like, oh no, no. I always told them the only one thing that's non-negotiable is warning the new generation. You gotta warn these guys. It's too late for me. You know, it's too late. How's our clock looking? 'Cause I can't see the clock.
We have a minute and some change
Okay.
left. When did you see CTE symptoms in yourself start?
Ooh, they started when I was still sliding because like I had this thing I would do. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night and wouldn't know where I was at. Like I would be kind of in a panic, and I would like I'll jump up, turn lights on. I always say the pictures on the wall told me where I was at. Like I'm in Europe, or I'm in Canada, or I'm in California, or I'm at the Olympic Training Center, or I'm in a hotel. But like it kept happening, and I would just tell myself I was rationalizing. I was like, oh, you know what? I travel so much. I have such a great life that I don't know where I'm at sometimes. And then, one time I was telling somebody, I was telling somebody recently, went to see one of my buddies. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And it was a pretty girl over there. She was staring at us. He's like, I met your ex-girlfriend over there. And I was like, I don't know that girl. And that girl ran over and jumped in my arms. I said, oh, I guess I know that girl. But I got to the point where I wasn't recognizing familiar faces.
Those are some crazy symptoms.
Yeah, but I rationalized that one too. I was like, oh yeah, everybody think he's the ladies' man. Yeah, I'm just the lady. The ladies just love me. Stupid, like no, your brain is like going away, man. Like no, you can't. And I just didn't. And it was another thing, but I can't remember what the other one was. But it was three different things that I was doing. I just rationalized it, and then it just just kept going over my head. But some people told me that I told them that like when I was having the migraines, bobsleigh did something to my brain. So somehow I was connecting it, but I didn't remember connecting it. So once that memory starts to go, like it's hard to keep things in perspective.
Are you worried that you will start to see more significant CTE symptoms? Like, is that a daily thought of yours?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So,
The I started using hyperbaric oxygen, and I started using that because Joe Namath said he used it and it reversed his symptoms. And that thing seemed so scary. I didn't want to try it. Nothing else I saw worked, but when I tried it, it actually worked. And but the truth is, like, that's my biggest concern. I got two concerns. One is that one day that if I don't see, Joe said his symptoms will reverse, right? For me, if I go a month without using hyperbaric, I get cloudy. Even sometimes 3 weeks, I'll get cloudy again and I'll get confused and stuff. So for me, I don't get permanent relief. I get, I say it's kind of like this kind of preserving me. As long as I stay in the chamber enough, I'm okay. But like I just went back to the Midwest to go look at this place that I wanted to open a new place at the treatment facility. So I spent about 6 weeks away from here, and so my chamber was in LA, and my facility is gonna be in St. Louis. So by the time I came back, like I was barely talking again. And matter of fact, I even made a couple of videos uh, so I can see it later because I know when I'm struggling. Like it's really bad. Like at one point, like I was going in the stores. Like let's say you want to go buy something at the store, it costs you I don't know $7.32, and you had a $10 bill. I would literally be at the cash register having a meltdown, like because I can't figure out how much change to get. Are they cheating me? Are they ripping me off? How come I can't figure this out? And like my background was more math than science. Like I did a social science degree, but my first 2 years I was electrical engineer, so math was science was my background. So I love doing numbers. Numbers is my thing. But I had a point where I couldn't count anymore. Like I couldn't count. I was struggling to read, and I'm definitely struggling to process what I have read. It's like yeah, and I'm afraid that's my concern is that's going to happen. And the other concern is if I run out of money, like how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to do this? And those are my two biggest concerns right now.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you follow the Kelsey brothers in the NFL and what the oldest brother Jason has said recently about CTE. I mean, I mean, he was a lineman. He is pretty convinced that he has CTE, but
You trust me,
you
you
can't
know.
diagnose it. So
Yeah.
all you're really working from, unfortunately, is word of mouth and experiences, and everyone seems to have similar experiences. It's kind of crazy when you compare.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter what the sport is, or even if there was no sport, if they came from the military, it's the same symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. The same symptoms. Or the lady who was maybe she was a victim of domestic violence. Her partner hit her. Like it's the same. It's the same treatment. And that's why I was like, I got to open this place, and everybody needs access to it. It shouldn't just be this one or that one. Or because at my lake house, that's what I was going to do, just get the equipment there. Because I have one chamber, but my thing is because I need it. If it ever breaks, I'm in trouble. So I have to have other ones. I don't want to have just one, and then I'm stuck if it breaks. So I got to get a couple more, and then let people come in and can use them if they need. But that's really what I knew. If I did the lake house, it was going to be limited to how many people I can really help. So yeah, but yeah, that's the goal. Like, but you're right, you hit it on the head, and that's where my only stress in life comes down. I'm just wondering, like, if that switch turns off again, like, am I gonna know it turned off? Like, am I gonna go back to where I was? And like, I just want to be able to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you have friends and teammates that are committing suicide, and then the autopsies are coming back, and we have bona fide CTE diagnoses, and you're
Yeah.
experiencing similar symptoms to them. I mean, Will, what is going through your head?
Well, that's the whole thing. When we went to court, like I asked them, they were supposed to fight for us to help us get care for life. I didn't come in and say destroy the sport. I didn't come and say get rid of it. I didn't say I want all your money. Just help the guys who needs the help. And for me, to be very, very honest, when I started the case, my lawyers can tell you this. I never asked for anything for myself because I was so cloudy before the chamber, and like I didn't want to wake up another day like that. And so, whereas I didn't plan on committing suicide, but I know I didn't have many days left because I had to be fading out soon. And but God had other plans, I guess. So here I am back and finding things that work and help. But it's yeah, it's awful, man. And the whole thing with the case, like I just want to give everybody help. Like yeah, no man, like that right now, like we're fighting over the word concussion. Now they want to put concussion into all the paperwork so athletes can see it. Like I demand that they do that, but they still playing with the words a little bit. Like I knew I had a concussion, but I didn't know in 7 years I was gonna wake up and not know who I was or who my friends were. Like you can't tell somebody, okay, you're gonna get a concussion because they make it seem so normal. They normalize it. Like when we had a concussion, like I want to send you that video later. I want you to watch this, or you can see it on my YouTube channel. But it's like we had a really bad crash. My brakeman was unconscious. They sent us back to the hotel, and they said, "Okay, make sure you guys don't go to sleep. Watch each other." So the guy who's unconscious is supposed to watch me, or the guy with vertigo who can't sit up in the bed is supposed to watch him. Like, who's supposed to watch you? Like it's like, nah, man. I never saw a doctor one time from when we were out of the country from rough trips or concussions or crashes. There was no one did. There was one guy. Don't get me wrong. There was one guy. Matter of fact, he crashed so bad he was there at the track by himself. He flew out of the track. He was brain dead. They gave his family 72 hours to make funeral arrangements and to ship his body back. And when they unplugged the machine, he woke up. His name is Joe Sisson. He's an awesome guy. He's in Utah now. He's actually a school teacher. And like those guys, I'm really fighting for, man. Like I got it bad, but I got the chamber that helps me. But I know they really have it bad. And that's what keeps me fighting. It's like, no, man. Like every time I hear them encouraging words from them, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm struggling. I said, I got you, man. I got you. I'm. I think the last 2 times I were in court, I literally was. I can't make this up. All the lawyers, defense lawyer, uh, my lawyers, were all on the same team. Like, no, like, how did that happen? And they're on the same team as we're saying, like, we think just evaluating you guys is enough. Like, what? Like, would you take your child to a doctor who's not going to treat them? You're just going to take them to have them evaluated? Like, yeah, we would. Now, stop lying, guys. Like, stop that. Like, I lose more respect for you guys by the hour. Like, but yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Like, last two times in court, it's all on record. Like, it was literally just me fighting for everybody. Like, no, they need help. We need help. And so now I'm at the point now where I'm like, you know what? I gotta move forward with the healing. So, matter of fact, I tried to do a fundraiser 2 years ago, and my lawyers begged me not to do it. They said, no, don't do it yet. We're negotiating. Let's get one more round of negotiations in. It's like, huh? Like, he said, don't worry, these doctors are coming. They're going to help you. And then I trusted them. I really trusted them. So we get to the end of the case. These documents are showing up. There's no treatment at all. They just want to watch us. Like, watch us what? Die? Like, and I said, guys, you made me wait 2 years to do a fundraiser to help my teammates because you said these doctors were coming. But now you said there was never doctors coming. It was only always about valuations. So the other day, I pulled out an email that they sent me that they wanted to help us find care for life. Like, okay, what happened to this? Like, this is what you guys told me we were doing. So, like, I'm literally by myself now. Like, I don't, yeah. So I had to sign off on this case that's awful. That won't help anybody. It's disgusting. And I'm sick and I feel more responsible than they do because I'm leading this thing, you know. Like I did an interview one time with this guy with HBO Real Sports, Chapman Downs. And at that point, like I'm not sure if we spoke about this yet, but when I wake up in the morning, I didn't know where I was at. Like I always had to figure out if I figure out what the day is. Like I can't tell a Sunday from a Monday or Friday. Everything's the same. And so every morning I woke up, I had to look at this little planner to see if it's what day it is and what month. 'Cause I always think it's January or August. I don't know why those 2 months, but same thing every day. So it's like that movie Groundhog's Day. I wake up, I'm looking at my nightstand to figure out what the. But yeah, that's the life that I have been living since I left the sport. And the only thing that gave me any relief is that chamber, man. It's like Joe name. I couldn't even say his name for a long time without getting choked up because like I was toast. Like I was even now, like when we're talking, like I'm struggling with some things I'm talking about. Like I had to really form my thoughts. Like yeah, man. So for me, who been was a counselor most of my life, imagine me now trying to go in and stop a riot, and I can't even think straight. Yeah, it's horrible. But
Why did you leave the sport?
well, I stayed too long. I believe I stayed in the sport too long. The truth is, I think I only stayed as long as I did because of the racism. I told everybody when I leave the sport, I want other people to be able to come in who look like me and I have the same problems I had, and that's why I work so hard. They'll never cause problems. And but the truth was, like I overstayed my welcome. I shouldn't have been there that long. And once I saw what they were doing, I probably wouldn't be dealing with what I'm dealing with now. But
Wow.
I don't know if I answered your question there, right? But
No, you did. I mean, I think it's interesting when I interview athletes who are removed from their sport by multiple years, sometimes even decades, because they have such a different perspective on their relationship with their sport. Like it's one thing to interview an Olympic bobsledder who just won a gold medal. It's a different
yeah,
experience altogether to interview you who has had some incredible highs and just gut punching lows as it
yeah,
relates to the sport that you spent almost a decade in. I mean, that's crazy to see that kind of dedication and then be honored by your national team and then kicked to the curb as well.
yeah.
And essentially told that what you're experiencing isn't covered by their care.
Yeah, yeah. They literally came to court and was like, what head injuries you talking about? Yeah. But I know where all the smoking guns are now. Like I know when there was a point in time, I probably might not put this all the way out, but they knew about the head injuries and they wanted more protection. And I know who did that. And they said they couldn't find helmets that were safe but aerodynamic. The guy admitted to me what he did. And yeah, and that's why this stuff kept going on for as long as it did, because they were covering it up.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like you and I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I didn't even plan on going dark. So like I never talk about the racism and stuff. I never talk about I left the sport in '07. I never did an interview about it ever because I just it's like it's one of them things you don't want to believe it really happened. Number one, you want to believe that it's true. You don't want to believe that it's still going on, and it's just yeah, it's just kind of heartbreaking when you look back at it. But I do feel um, I guess a little bit more relief that I still came back. Like it was easier for me to just walk away and not come back and help anybody, but to come back and help the people who also probably played a part in mistreating me. Now are coming back to save their lives. Like it's like and I'm offering it to them for free. Like it's like yeah, it's just humbling. It's very humbling. Yeah.
What started this lawsuit against USA Bobsled in 2021?
Well, what started is I just saw we had this memorial when Pablo took his life. And I didn't get on that call because I was embarrassed. Like I felt responsible for Pablo's death. So I played a part in it because I didn't do what I told myself I was going to do. And so some of the other people who were on the line for this memorial phone call, they were all talking about one of the guys said he had tried to take his life and they found him. His girlfriend saw him and they fixed him. Um, and other people were talking about they have these weird feelings, but they can't really put them into words. Like our symptoms, it's very hard to describe what they really are because they're really unnatural to us. And if you start to explain them, most people are going to be like, "Oh, I got that same thing too." Like I forget what I'm talking about when I come in the room. Like, no, it's not the same. And for me, like my family, I have a TikTok where I do videos about my journey just so people can see what's when you use hyperbaric. Like, because Joe Neighbor didn't leave the clues. I'm trying to leave the clues. This is what I'm dealing with. This hurts. This doesn't. This is good. This is that. But I try to just leave the things where people can find it and they can find their way through. Like maybe they'll find the video in 10 years or 20 years or 30. Who knows? But when I started looking, that was nothing. Like I couldn't find. And I was about to tell you something and my mind's totally shifted. And I don't know what that was. So I apologize.
It's all
But
good.
this is what I do every day, all day. It's just, I hate it, man. It's just like, wow, really? The good thing is I can watch a movie and watch it again in 2 weeks and never know I really probably watched that movie before. I won't remember much of it. That's what I deal with. Like
Well,
it's
I don't
just
know if that's a good thing or not.
it's not a good thing, but it's like, yeah, it's just how did this happen? Like, why are they allowing it to still happen? And why are they fighting me on it? Like, really? This could be your child. Like, and the crazy part is like Pavle was very popular. Like he was a fan favorite of the office. Stephen Holcomb was a favorite. They were like I was never loved. Put it that way. These guys were loved. They were like the brothers over there. Like I didn't have that same with those people, with the coaches and stuff. Now within my teammates, yeah, we are. It's pretty cool. A lot of my teammates, but the fact that they're turning their back on those guys, it's like, what is wrong with this picture?
How
Like,
does it feel to have your feelings just completely minimized?
well, what I can say is that people who slid before me during my time, they all dealing with the same stuff. I'm not by myself. It's a lot of us. Um, so they're dealing with it too. But what I do believe just like myself. Like it's kind of like you know what you're dealing with, but you don't know that is from where it's from. You know, it's so easy to rationalize it. You know, and that's what it really is. Like I literally read an article. They diagnosed me, and I got on my knees and thank God that I missed all the symptoms. It took for us for my girlfriend to look at it and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, buddy." You know, so it takes. I always tell people it takes your loved ones to be around you, so they're going to be the ones that can help you. So, like for me, my dad, I went to St. Louis to do put some cabinets in my sister's house doing COVID. I had nothing to do. I'm like, yeah, get out of here. So I'm over there, and my dad, he's a contractor. He said, I'll meet you at the store in the morning. I said, okay, just call me. So I do this thing that I always have to do. I have everything in a specific place. Otherwise, I won't find it. Like I'll literally walk out the house without keys or I make sure that my toothbrush is out, or I'll be walking out to the car like, well, what's my mouth taste funny? Like, oh, you didn't brush your teeth, like you know. So if you put my toothbrush away, I'm gonna think it's never existed. Like it's I have those kind of issues. So there's one particular my God, what was I've just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good.
It was a good one though. It was a good one.
We were talking about experiences on the daily that you have with your mental health as it relates to bobsled.
Yeah, you know, pretty much what you just keep saying happen over and over. That's pretty much is what I yeah, yeah, that's pretty much that's the worst of it. Except when the vertigo kicks in and the migraines. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sorry I had a point that I was making somewhere in there, but
No, it's all good.
this is like oh I was telling you earlier like I did that interview with Chapman Downs HBO Real Sports, and that was the first time I saw it on myself where I saw myself in the camera in real time. Like we asked me a question about bobsledding, and here and now I'm over here talking about squirrels and birds and cars and I saw myself doing it. I'm like, stop that. Couldn't. I had a meltdown just talking to him. I was like, hey, I stopped the interview. I just said, call me later. But at one point, like I was so bad off. Like this stuff here is minimal. Before it was just like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
who the what is this? Like, why am I like this? Like, you know, this can't be this life now. Is this life? And I guess it kind of is. But you know, like I used to complain a little bit, but I ran into this guy. You know what an iron lung is?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a guy in the iron lung. He died last year. He was in there for 57 years.
I saw that
That,
news
yeah,
story.
that, yeah, that guy had such a positive attitude. He was so positive, man. And after I saw him, like I used to hate getting in my chamber because it's like it becomes a chore after a while. Anything you got to do 4 or 5 days a week, it's a chore. And then when I saw that guy with such a great attitude, I said, I'm never gonna complain again. Never gonna play again. I'm just gonna get my butt in that chamber like I'm supposed to, and never gonna complain again about it. But yeah, it can be brutal though. It's sometimes it's just yeah, when it kicks in, it kicks in. It's just and you just gotta. But I know what to do now. That's the biggest thing. I know how to and that's kind of the biggest thing I want to get out there. Most people dealing with it, they don't know that's what they have. They don't know that's what they're dealing with. They just think that I'm just getting older because everybody says it. Oh, I mean, we talking about my dad. So I'm sorry, this is how my brain works. It's like this vicious, like, yeah. Okay, so my dad, he's telling me, we'll meet in the morning. So I take all my stuff and I put my wallet in the car, make sure everything is thought ready for me. So my dad calls me in the morning. It's okay, I'm ready to go. So I get up, I go to my car. Car's in the garage and can't find my wallet. Went back in the house. You see it in the bedroom. I asked my sister, my nephew, did they see it? It's like, no. So that's weird. Went back to the car, wasn't there. I don't know how long I was walking back and forth from the car to that bedroom. But then my dad called me. He was like, you still at home? While he was living, boy, he was so mad at me. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, Dad, I don't know, man. Something's wrong. He said, what you mean? He's still yelling at me. I was like, listen, man, just forget it. I'll figure it out myself, you know. I said, I don't know. I put my wallet in the car and I put it in there last night, so I don't have to worry about it. and now it's gone. And so I'm walking to the car as I'm telling them this. So I get in the car, my wallet is right there where I left it. But for the first time, my family got to see me in that state, and then it helped because now it's not like one person just talking about it. Somebody is there to validate what's going on. They can kind of help you through it, and that's kind of been the biggest thing for me. Like it's really my family has stepped up now that they know what it is. They're like, since I was 17, I left college. Back then, was no cell phones at first, and long distance was expensive. So you spend a lot of time away from the family. And so for me now, it's like I never had anybody watching me all these years. I'm just, I might call home, hey, I just got back from Europe, or I'm just on my way to, I'm on my way to Europe, or I'm going to, But now it's like a community around me who actually check in, you know. Yeah, yeah. But without that family support, man, these people aren't going to realize what this is. That's why it's so important to treat everybody like the military, the all the football players, the soccer players got it worse than everybody. It's the biggest sport in the world. I think their rates are the highest. But it's yeah, it's something like I'm committed to doing for the rest of my life. And if I do it properly, hopefully when I leave, it'll continue to run on its own. And
Absolutely.
hopefully they'll do what they did when I opened my treatment facility for kids. I found a niche that hasn't been done yet. And I didn't do it so nobody else could do it. I did it because it needed to be done. So hopefully other companies will come and duplicate what I'm doing and put me out of business. That's the goal. Yeah,
So your episode will come out midway through October, but I do think that it's pertinent to mention that September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
yeah,
Thank you for saying that.
absolutely. I mean, I think that I am obviously not a psychologist, right? But I do share a fair amount of stories about self-harm and suicidal ideation and the role that that plays in your time on and off whatever field you're competing on.
Yeah.
You have been personally affected by mental health issues, the most severe of all. I mean, I think, what would you say to someone who is listening to this episode in October after Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and hearing your symptoms and thinking the worst?
Well, my biggest message is you're not alone and you have to find community. You have to, and like now where I didn't have community, I had to kind of build community. And so now that people kind of hear my story, like I'm getting calls from hockey players, soccer players, parents talking about their kid went through this and that. And I can kind of help talk them through a little bit of that. And the biggest thing I tell them, if your kid had a concussion, watch your child or watch your loved one. If they tell you they're okay, it's not necessarily the truth. And that's the one thing we have to focus on is that because like for me, like I had so many bad, I had so many bad days. Mine was just awful until I could kind of figure it out. And the crazy part is, if you ever had a good day, my brain is telling me, you know what? This is a good day to die. This is the best day to die. It's beautiful. So it's like you really can't win with this thing for losing. Like you have to really be on top of what you're dealing with, understand what it is, and put things in place. Like my thing is like I'm trying to teach people how to live with the symptoms. Like this is the crazy part. Like for me, uh, it's something you can make up. Like for example, I'll go in spurts of like I've been dating the same person for 6 years. Never have I ever left the toilet seat up. All of a sudden, I'll go a whole week leaving the toilet seat up, and then I'll have another weird behavior. Uh, I'll leave the stove on for a whole week, not turn the stove off for a whole week, or not locking the front door for a whole week. I don't do them all concurrently. It's just something else will take over, and it's like you learn to do one thing right, then you're gonna lose something else along the way. And so the biggest thing is like I kind of what I call CTE my house. First walk in the door, the keys and wallet go right there. My shoes are right there. My toothbrush is always out. My mouthwash is always out. My deodorant is always out. Like there's a certain things you can do. Like, and if you learn to do those things, it'll make life so much easier for you. But if you have the wrong partner who's like everything's got to be neat and tight in its place, you're gonna have problems. So you should really be conscious of if you cohabitate with somebody, this is gonna cause problems.
I mean, it seems like you have a steady support system behind you that really cares about you and for you. And I think that that's changing your life. And I don't mean to like say
Yeah,
that with such dramatics, but like truly it does. Just
yeah,
from the anecdotes that you've shared. Can we talk a bit about the process of going through hyperbaric oxygen therapy?
absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, you said that you found it through Joe Namath. What does going into that chamber feel like? What does that time that you're in the chamber feel like?
Well, when you ever get on the airplane and you first start going up, your ears kind of get that pressure. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You have to clear your ears. If you can't clear them, you're not going to be able to get the pressure. It's going to feel like you got uh, like a crochet needle in your eardrum. That's what it feels like. You can't release that pressure. It just builds and builds. So, but you just get in there, and as the pressure's going up, you yawn a few times, and usually most people can clear the pressure. And I when I first got in there, I was so weak. Like I said, I used to only sleep all the time. But now I do try to do puzzle, brain work type of things. Um, I don't sleep as much as I used to. Before I was always just napping. I just couldn't help it. Like, yeah, but so now it's like I get in there, I set two timers, one for about 90 minutes, and then I'll set one for like 90 minutes plus an extra 10 minutes, just in case I sleep through that first alarm. So, but that's pretty much it. You just get in there and you just relax, and it's really not much to it. It's just I was really afraid of the technology when I first saw it because I was doing the reading. It was like this one burned up and this one blew up. I was like, what? And so, like, I spent a little bit extra money going with a place that had a storefront just because I wanted somebody there I can get on the phone with immediately if there's a problem or trying to set this thing up properly. Because most of the chambers you see on TV, I mean, on the internet, you blindly buying this stuff. You don't know who's on the other side of the computer. But yeah, man, that's really been yeah. Just you get in there, you relax, and when time is off, you come on out. It's just really that simple. It's not a lot to it.
So you do go to a facility that has a hyperbaric chamber in it, or do you have one in your house?
I have one in my house.
Okay, that's what it
Yeah,
sounded like.
yeah. Well, you gotta think like where I live at, you can find them for an hour rental. Like you can go there and use theirs for an hour. It's like $200 an hour. So let's think most people who need this treatment, they need about 50 sessions. So 50 times 200, like it's not everybody can afford that. And so for me, I was doing the math. I was like, it's cheaper to buy it. And then when I get done, I know some other people who are going to need it. And so, yeah, so I wound up just buying one.
Yeah.
But I tell you, well, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but like one time I tried to not use it anymore because, like Joe said, he didn't need it. Reversed his symptoms, he didn't need it. So I said, okay, well maybe um, I don't need it. I feel great. I don't think I need it anymore. Man, that 3 weeks went by. I felt like I wanted to jump off the nearest bridge. It was awful, man. It was just like, oh God. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. That's the crazy part. I literally had to trip over the doggone thing in my living room at that time. I was like, I'm like, oh yeah, stupid. You trying to see if you still need it. Get back in there. But it took me a couple of days to figure that out. Like, that's the crazy part about this stuff. Like when that mind say no more, it means it. But yeah, it's been such a blessing, man. Like I tell people all the time, like I don't sell these things. I don't have a contract with anybody. I said, I'm just telling you my experience. This is what my experiences are. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of your experiences. Is there anything with the 7 minutes that we have left on this timer that you feel like I missed, that you feel like you'd like to add context to, the floor is yours.
Man, I bounced around so much, and I would just, my brain would not be just losing information. So I'm not quite sure.
All right.
But no, I think we covered a lot of good stuff. And then but the other thing is, I never ask people to, you know, watch my channels. Like, watch my channel. Make a donation. At least share it. Like, it's gonna save a lot of lives. And like I said, like, people looking at me like when I told them a few weeks ago about the military people, the murders coming from the military people, they people thought I was just nuts saying that out loud. And within 14 days, it happened twice. Like this is real stuff. And I tell people all the time, just the same way I work with people in youth corrections, like, we gotta fix these people because eventually they're gonna be our neighbors. I don't want no guy who's a criminal who went to jail for 30 years. Now he's my next door neighbor. Like he's probably gonna be victimizing me. No, we gotta fix these people while we have the opportunity. And the crazy part, it's oxygen. It's no reason. Like, I had a guy on one of my channels. He was like, they started building one. I don't advise that. And that's scary as heck. Excuse my language. But he's the second person who told me he was going to build one. Now I'm like, okay. I told him, I said, make a lot of video. I want to see the progress. But, like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to get one with a warranty. Matter of fact, I bought one with the longest warranty, which is 5 years. Usually they have like 1 or 2 years. Like, I pay a little bit more. I got one for 5 year warranty, and it works just good for me. Not complaining. So, but it's great. You should try it. Like, if you have any stuff left over from childhood, like I don't know if I should. Well, put it this way, I used to work with do stuff for Jamie Foxx sometime. Like, it was a long time. He had a song out called "Blame It on the Alcohol," and so I did product placement for it. And I put Patron in there, and the Nouveau, and when he got sick, they said he had a stroke. They said he had a stroke. It was all over the media. I called his camp. I said, guys, first of all, I said, please don't tell me what's wrong with him. I said, but if it's a stroke, check into hyperbaric oxygen. This is what the medical stuff say about it. If you have a bad stroke and you're in a wheelchair and you go through the chamber, you're probably going to walk or maybe need a cane at worst. If you have a stroke and you need a cane, if you go through hyperbaric oxygen, you're definitely going to probably be walking without it. And so I told him that, and so I just try to spread the word where I hear stuff because this thing's been around since the 1800s, I guess. And the thing is, like, even when I got mad, like, I didn't want to be like, whenever you mention hyperbaric, people always say, "Oh, Michael Jackson had one." I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't want to be the one weird guy with the hyperbaric. I'm the one weird friend you got with the hyperbaric chamber now, huh?" Like, I became that guy. But it's what a blessing to have it, man. It's just such a blessing.
I mean,
And I
it's
just,
it's your health, it's your life. You found something that works for you and are cultivating your health in that way. And I think that that's the fact that you have found something that works for you is so important.
oh, absolutely. You know what? I give all the credit to Joe Namath because he's the one who did it. Like, I can't. Like, I've been told everybody. I was like, you know what? I can't take credit for this. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know nothing about it. I wouldn't have nothing about it. I wouldn't have been trying it. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely been a blessing.